All right, guys, welcome back to the DBTalks Football Podcast. Today, we're unfortunately going to be reacting to the brutal Champions League night between Barcelona and Chelsea, where Barcelona lost 3-0 away at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the 25-26 league phase. We'll go through everything. We'll go through the lineups. We'll go through Koundé's own goal, Araujo's red card, Estevão's great goal, Delap's goal, and then the tactics from both sides. And if we have time, we'll go over player performances specifically and discuss what this result means for both teams, Barca and Chelsea, in this overall UCL campaign. So yeah, to introduce myself, my name is Dishan. I'm gonna be your main host. I have my co-host Brajesh, and we have our two Chelsea fans to join us. We have. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Hatham, and
I'm Harmon, and I'm a Chelsea fan.
So yeah, let's before we even start the podcast, let's go through. Let's do like an activity. So let's give one word for each person to describe the game. Who wants to start?
Expected.
worldy.
I guess I'll go with disaster.
I'll go with underwhelming or tragic, one of those.
That's two
Okay,
words.
yeah, those
Pick one. Just pick one of them.
whatever. Okay, yeah, those words make sense. So, but yeah, even before this game, like coming to this game, both teams, Chelsea and Barca, had 7 points overall in the UCL league phase, and they were both chasing a top eight spot in the league phase to avoid the top 24 playoffs. And Barca arrived on a 53 game scoring streak in all competitions. And yeah, this is a big disappointment because this is like one of the first times they failed to score in the Champions League for more than a year. And then yeah, there was a lot of talk before the game as well between Yamal and Estevão, and then how they were the two next big wingers for this next generation, and how Flick's Barca would be tested against a high intensity Chelsea side. So yeah, let's. I guess we'll discuss the lineups to start off with. The Chelsea fans, you guys want to start off?
Oh yeah, I would love to start this off. So just going over the last podcast, just gonna take some words into consideration. Now, Harmon, I don't know if you want to look into this as well.
So looking at the lineup, I saw it at first, not what I expected. I did predict. I think everything was almost accurate except that striker spot. We actually did not start with a striker. We started with Pedro Neto as a 9, and it was clear what we were trying to do. We were trying to just get in behind the defense, and I think it worked amazingly. Well, Neto didn't get a GA or anything. I think he was amazing in that striker spot. He got a pre-assist for that second goal, caused that Koundé worldy, and I think it worked well overall. And that did mean Joao Pedro did get fully rested, which is amazing. But everything else was pretty expected. Cucurella starting, of course, pocketed Lamine Yamal. Both right backs starting, and one of them in midfield. Reece James bossed the midfield along with Caicedo, and arguably outshined Caicedo as well. Enzo Fernandez in that a cam spot, amazing. Unfortunately, robbed of a goal. I think that second goal should have been allowed. Chalaba, he didn't really affect play at all. And the wingers, exactly what I expected. Garnacho, I think he could have been a lot more direct. But Estevão, just this guy is unreal. I told you guys, he's 100% better than Yamal this season, and I was of course proven right. That
You're
goal
not right.
completely, completely destroyed the defenders. Drop ball to the ground, like it was just worldy. Robert Sanchez, another great performance. He didn't have to do much, but his distribution was overall very good, and I didn't have to do much at the back. Center backs, Chalaba, Fofana did their job. Chalaba, who does get a lot of stick at Chelsea, I think is great when he has a quality center back beside him, such as Wesley Fofana. When he's beside Uncle Tosin, it doesn't look good. But yeah, overall lineup was amazing. Performance was amazing. So happy with that performance.
No, yeah, just to reiterate, Harmon took the words right out of my mouth. Only thing I would like to go more in depth with was the fullbacks today. My God, oh my God, just watching Cucurella, Reece James, and Malo Gusto. Again, I'm happy to predict that Maresca would start off with his two right backs playing. I definitely did predict that Reece James and Malo Gusto would be rotating positions often. We would see Malo Gusto invert, and then we see Reece James drop back. Again, this was amazingly set up tactically by Maresca. He knew what type of team he'd be going up against. He knew the type of players he needed. Again, just to reiterate what Harmon said, he knew that he needed like more faster players such as Neto, Garnacho, Estevão. You need quick players just to break that high line.
Yeah, I think we also 100% Maresca got the game tactically right. He was clearly trying to expose the high line, and I just don't really get what I know Flick really wants to stick by his high line ideology, if that's the word, but it just doesn't make sense considering Chelsea, when trying to break down low blocks, are probably one of the worst teams to break down low blocks. Our players just, I don't know, without Cole Palmer, we just really can't break down these low blocks. So I did expect Hansi Flick to keep the high line, but it's just crazy how he didn't try to tactically change his tactics at all. And clearly, all the big teams have exposed that high line. Real Madrid, PSG, and Chelsea all exposed the high line. And I think this game in specific is definitely going to be a wake up call to Hansi Flick, and he will end up changing his tactics in the future. But yeah, this game was just overall, it was just so amazing as a Chelsea fan.
Is Flick
Can I
on
mention-
Fraud Watch?
Can I mention something? Post game, Hansi Flick mentioned, like, he was asked by an interviewer about the high line, like, if he'll change it at all. And I think he said he's not going to really change it. He's going to stick by the high line. But he did say that we'll see a different Barca. So I think he's going to change something else about the team. Maybe like the attacking, or maybe he's just trying to hint that with the return of certain players such as Pedri and Rafinha eventually, that the team will get more strong. Just, because Hansi Flick's philosophy relies along like the attacking part. So like defensively, it's not that good, but he kind of relies on Barca outscoring the team. That's why before the game he was mentioning how someone asked him, like, if Chelsea scores 4 goals, what are you gonna do? He says he's the Barca should score 5 then. So, and I think today the offense was much more disappointing than the offense. I mean, the offense was much more disappointing than the defense, because the offense wasn't really creating much. We only had 2 shots on target by Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, and then Fran missed. I don't know how he misses that, but he missed that. And I think, I'm not sure if that would change the outcome of the game, but I do think that would give Barca much more momentum. But yeah, again, just Hansi Flick, I think he's not going to change the high line much, but I think attacking wise, Barca is going to use it better, and I think he'll try to adapt with it, and especially with Rafinha coming 100% fit. I think that'll be very important. And then with Pedri's return, I think the midfield will be a lot more stable, because we saw in the game that the midfield with Barca wasn't that good, because kept on losing the ball, kept on getting pressed. De Jong, he's very good. I think De Jong's world class, but I don't think he was able to handle it that game specifically. But I don't really blame him too much, because it's kind of hard to do that during those circumstances.
Yeah, and if we just go through the Barca lineup going into this game, obviously it was really similar to what we predicted before the game. We decided like Araujo was going to start, and Eric was 100% going to start. It was just where he was going to start specifically, and he did end up starting in midfield. So we had also Ferran Torres starting, surprisingly, because Rashford himself was not fit enough. So I guess he came off the bench. And again, yeah, you mentioned the Ferran Torres chance. I feel like if it was any of our other players, they scored that goal. So yeah, and the whole game changes. So I guess another important, almost a scores out in my opinion. But yeah, Flick stuck with the 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 hybrid, and then we had De Jong dropping between like the center backs to cover some the transitions, and then we also had Yamal as our main wide right outlet for the right flank, and then we had Baldi as our left flank outlet. But yeah, specifically like before this game, I thought on paper it looked like Barca would control most of the possession, and then Chelsea would obviously look to press and break at pace with their wingers, especially Estevão and Garnacho. And yeah, we saw that Maresca decided to choose Neto as striker, because I guess he did want to expose the high line and have like fast runners in behind. And I guess Maresca did outclass Flick in this game. So yeah, I guess we can start into the first half of the game. Chelsea, you guys want to start off?
Okay, yeah, sure. So that first half, 90% dominated by Chelsea, I think. There was that chance for Ferran Torres, which is an unbelievable miss. I don't know how it's even possible to get that off target. I think a toddler does better there. And I think overall that first half was just dominated by Chelsea. A lot of disallowed goals, unfortunately, either because Chelsea were offside or the referee was drunk. I can't believe that Enzo Fernandez's second goal was disallowed still. I think that's just outright outrageous, but it won't be talked about because we did end up destroying them anyway. And overall, I'm just so happy with Enzo Maresca as a manager. In that first half, he's just clearly shown that he can show up for the big games, and he always does. Hate them.
Yeah, no, definitely what you're hearing about in the first half, it's insane. My honest reaction, probably the same way you guys had about that Ferran miss, was when Neto like completely bossed it out. He ran full field, full width, took a shot on his weak foot. He was on an angle. Oh, actually, no, sorry, that was second half. Whoops, what am I? Was it first? No, it was
Yeah,
first.
that
I was
was
thinking
first.
of
My
a
bad.
second. I was thinking of the other one. My bad. I confused them. But no, the first half where he ran on the right side, took it on his weak foot. I was just thinking that, man, that would have been a great attempt. Obviously, though, we did take multiple other attempts, such as that what was it? That goal from the set piece, was it? Yeah, where Harmon talked about it, where Chalobah ducked out the way, which honestly should have counted. Don't know how that was disallowed. The first one, I see it, I hear it, where Fofana touched him on the hand, like the arm area. I hear that. But there were definitely some like irrational calls by the ref in the game. But other than that Araujo red, I do think like Barca didn't really have they weren't like that high into it. They were playing around. They gave so much space. Like they had so much they were taking so much time on the ball. Like it was insane. Seeing Caicedo, he at one point was even wondering like why are these guys taking so much time on the ball? Every single time they took more than like a minute just to like set up a counter or like just set up a play. Caicedo was just there to swoop up the play. Even Enzo too. He's not even our. I wouldn't say he's not even like he's more so on like the lower end on the physical side of our team. Yet he was just completely like hoovering up those balls and winning all those physical duels. So I can say Chelsea in the first half were completely like outclassing Barcelona both on and off the ball.
Yeah, I think Prem physicality really shined here. Like a lot, I just see we won so many physical duels, and we did see a lot of the players crying, like the Barcelona players crying and diving because they aren't used to the Prem physicality. This was Lamine Yamal's first game against a Prem team, and it
It was
was
not, but
quite.
it was not. It was not.
Wait,
You know,
what?
his first game in
What?
London.
What? What
He
was?
played
What? What?
Spurs. He played Spurs. I'm pretty sure when he was
In a
15.
friendly, in a friendly. Okay,
Does
I'm
it
not
not
talking about a
count?
friendly. I'm talking about no. I'm talking about a professional game. Okay, not no club friendlies. Okay, maybe that's Barcelona's level. I'm not sure, but I'm talking about Champions League, La Liga, Premier League, and yeah, Yamal clearly shown he wasn't ready. He just doesn't show up when all the lights are on him, and I don't have a complaint with any single player in that first half. It was just an amazing performance.
Yeah, no, it was complete domination. Again, I hear what Bridge and Deshaun were saying about Flick's Highline. Hey, if you want entertainment, 100% he should keep it. If you want to make a change, that highline needs to go. I've never seen a manager more stubborn than him. Because the amount of times that Chelsea were caught offside, which were very debatable too, honestly, if they were even off sometimes. Like I don't know, the VAR was taking quite a while, and they immediately flagged Cucurella offside for like a few times, which was a little concerning. But my God, it was an insane first half.
Yeah,
I just want to say there's a lot to unpack from what you guys both said. I just want to point out that no Barca player was diving or crying. I think what I will agree with is I think that the physicality
Koundé,
that
Fermin
they were
Lopez.
not crying. They were not. But I do agree that I think
Lamine.
I think with Barca, especially with the midfield and just some of the players, they aren't as I guess physical. Like they aren't like I think Chelsea were much better physically, and I think that helped them win the ball a lot more. And also just with Barca, I think the passing was very off today. I mean, not today, so yesterday, and also yeah, there's a lot of passes missed, and also I feel like Barcelona had a lot of technicality. And I think the best player with that is Pedri, and then with his absence, I think that really just hurt Barca's way of possessing the ball, just creating anything. Because with Flick's team, I think up to this point, Barca scored. Barca scored like every match so far this season, and to have someone like Lamine Yamal, who I think I consider the best attacker in the world, having someone like him, I feel like he got very neutralized by Cucurella. So I guess fair play to Cucurella
Wow.
because Lamine wasn't as I feel it wasn't as like direct, and he's just way more passive. I feel I don't know, and he wasn't able to do much. I think so. I think just with that absence, and like besides that, there's not really anyone else. I think on the pitch that on the starting 11 that did well, especially attacking wise. I think for me wasn't that good. I think it could have done a lot better. And I think with Lewandowski, I think this shows like this is one of the games where Lewandowski shows that like his age is showing. It's hard for him to really do much because I mean he always drops deep, but he can't do much with the ball when he has it, and he also his touch isn't that great. And it's I don't know, it's just hard for him to pass the ball and stuff. So I feel like that's kind of an issue. He's just much better in the box. But Barca weren't able to do much in the box anyways. Ferran Torres, I don't think he was that great. I mean, we talked about the miss already, which was very bad. But even besides that, I don't think he did much anyways. Someone that I want to mention attacking wise, I think did very well was Rafinha. I think Rafinha was actually one of the few players that's actually trying to do something. And yeah, I think the first half Chelsea definitely dominated. I mean, they scored. I forgot how many disallowed goals they scored that half. It was a lot, like two, right? So yeah, it was just very bad from Barca's point of view. I don't know, it's just something had to change, and I don't think it happened in second half either.
And yeah, going like into this first half from a Barca perspective, I think both teams did start like strong. I think Barca, of course, had that big chance with Ferran Torres, and then Chelsea had a couple also another chance. And then there was a lot of aggressive pressing from both sides, and it seemed like the game was going to be end to end and very open. And yeah, immediately we saw Estevão and Garnacho run at like Balde and Koundé, and they were trying to press them as much as possible. And Dion had to like often like sit very deep just to get a couple touches in the game. And then in the 27th minute, we just saw Chelsea finally get their first goal. There was like basically from a corner, and then Cucurella was played in. I honestly thought that was offside, but it ended up not being offside. And then Cucurella just gets past his man a bit and then puts in a low cross after some good work. And then, yeah, it just gets bundled in by Koundé, which is unfortunate because initially Neto's shot's actually blocked by Ferran Torres. And yeah, unfortunately, Koundé just kind of unluckily hits it in. So I just feel like this has been like a way to describe Koundé this season. I guess he hasn't been on form specifically, and it just feels like this was just another mistake from him. And then going into the half, we were about to like go to halftime, and then I was like, okay, maybe 1-0 is not too bad away at Stamford Bridge. And then suddenly we see Araujo get his red card with a stupid tackle, and then yeah, I guess it just I'm so disappointed with Araujo because I used to be like one of his supporters in the past, and every season it seems that he seems to become a liability for us. So yeah, really not a good look for Araujo himself, and I guess there's going to be decisions that need to be made because he can't be our captain. He can't be the captain of this team. So yeah, I guess he just misjudged the ball and then threw in a horrible challenge at Cucurella. So yeah, it was just a bad challenge from him. And from that moment, I just think that Barcelona lost total chance of winning this game. And it just felt like Chelsea were going to press and dominate this game from that point on. And yeah, that overall decision was really costly. And then, yeah, again, at halftime, Barcelona were 1-0 down away from home and down to 10 men. So yeah, really bad situation for Barcelona to go to the second half. And I guess, yeah, second half, I think the Chelsea fans can talk for a bit.
I think the game ended in the first half when Araujo did a stupid tackle, but that second half was just pure domination. I still can't believe this game, man. I think it was Maresca did a very good substitution, taking Gusto off for Andre Santos. Andre Santos, what a signing he's been for Chelsea. Yeah,
Unreal
glad Gusto
baller,
got
man. He was like literally the main reason for that second goal. The way he recovered that, played it to Reece James, and then that assist. Oh my god! Like I literally was like goosebumps when I saw him recover that.
Yeah,
He
when
was
Enzo
like
and Caicedo.
immediately filled the gap. Sorry, my bad for cutting you off, but he
No.
immediately filled the gap in that pivot role, like that we normally see with Caicedo and Enzo there. Like, oh my god, Santos is the best of both worlds for both of them. You really saw his defensive capabilities there and the way he's able to box crash. Even though that goal was offside, you still saw that amazing finish when Garnacho gave him that assist. He's just an unreal baller.
Yeah, I think with Andre Santos, you see flashes of Lavia, and yeah, whenever Enzo and Caicedo aren't fit, I'm so confident with the midfield because he's literally both profiles. He has everything both that they have. And overall, that second half, we just saw the game, and luckily we saw Liam Delap score his first goal for Chelsea, exposing the high line again. Enzo Fernandez, this guy, I'm so glad he got a GA because that performance. Oh my god, I can't believe he was trying to get compared to players like Frankie De Jong. he completely ran the midfield, man. And I'll pass it off to Hatham now.
No, yeah, just combining both halves. I just want to, if there's one player I could just give like a huge shout out to this game, it has to be Reece James. Like, I promise you, this was one of the key games I was most hyped about Reece James, and just seeing how he surged forward every single time when he was overlapping with Estevão, how he pulled, especially for that second goal. Again, I have to give credit to Santos there, but the way he surged forward, like he literally grabbed Balde to come out of position a little bit so Estevão can make that darting run. He made that pass in perfect space. Estevão, again, unreal baller, made Kubarsi go full in on a challenge and then still scored that worldie on his weak foot. Like, I just have to give credit to Reece James there. Tracked back one-on-one with so many players. Varane, when it seemed like it was a one-on-one chance, like when he was through on, Reece James stopped him there. Like, there was just so many times where Reece James was basically like immovable in that midfield. And to think he's just a right back putting up that immaculate shift with a clean sheet and an assist in one game, it was just surreal watching him that game. Yeah, I just want to pass it off to the Barca fans if they want to say anything of what they thought between both first and second half for Barcelona.
I think specifically for the second half, obviously, again, we saw Rashford get subbed on at halftime, and I guess Ferran Torres got subbed off because he did have a very bad half. I think he missed that obvious big chance, and then overall, I just think he wasn't getting as involved. So I think it was the right decision from Flick. But yeah, we had a lot of hope into Rashford, and hopefully that he could like make an impact and maybe even bring the score to even a draw, maybe. But yeah, instantly, like in the 55th minute, we saw the Estevão goal. I have to admit, it was pretty good. It was really good from him. Um, yeah, basically, it was just poor defending from overall Kubarsi and Balde. I think they should have contained him better. I think they let him cut in too much, and then obviously, when Estevão got in, he had a great shot. And then, honestly, you can't blame João Garcia too much. I think that's a pretty unsavable shot because it's just really high, just really powerful, and yeah, just a bad overall play from Barca defensively. And that goal basically summed up the difference on the night because Estevão was very direct, he was very fearless and decisive, and Barca kept backing off and kind of letting them play with their own whatever, like just letting delegating the tackles and stuff, which was just not good enough. And then Yamal, on the other hand, well, I think he did have a good start to the game, but he just again was not getting as involved as he could have, and then not having as big of an impact he could have had. And then things just kept getting worse. It just felt like after the red card, after the second goal, just there was no hope for Barca to come back or even win. And in the 73rd minute, we saw obviously Delap get his goal. And again, initially we thought it was going to be offside, but unfortunately it was not. And then again, just the same similar type of goal we've seen all season, almost every game. They just play a ball through, run in, and then cross the ball, and then it's basically a tap in for the striker or another attacker. So yeah, it ended up being 3-0, and then at this point, it's just Barca trying to damage prevention and I guess holding their conceding their goals to maximum of 3. And again, at that point, it just felt like the transition defending from Barcelona was so poor, and then I also like saw there was no midfield at the point because I feel De Jong and Christensen were pushing too high, and then because they were desperate for the goal, and then whenever Chelsea broke an attack to go against Barca, I think there's just no transition defending from our midfield or defense. And yeah, at the closing stages, basically the game slowed down, and then Chelsea were, I guess, managing the game. And yeah, Maresca was making his subs, and yeah, just overall a horrible performance from Barcelona overall.
I was also kind of confused on why Flick didn't play Casado, especially like not starting, but also even after the red card, I thought he would probably put Casado on just because Casado is kind of known for his like intensity, his press, his tackling. I think that could definitely been useful to try to win the ball off of Chelsea because Chelsea are also kind of playing that way. So I felt like getting Rashford on, I don't know how much it would have helped because the midfield is so weak, and the midfield is probably more important part of the game because we saw the ball there the most, and just Barca were like losing the ball. They weren't passing well. It kept on going to Chelsea. Chelsea were winning the ball. It wasn't that good at all. And I think the defense was also not that great. I think Kubarsi had some pretty bad slip ups, like with the Estevão goal. I think with the Estevão goal, he could have done better. Could have put a foot in. Could have done something. But then even he had that. There was that one chance with Neto just running past Kubarsi, he had to somehow stop Neto there. Neto could have easily scored that. And just would have been very bad look on Kubarsi. Now, I have seen a lot of the people hate on Kubarsi, like a lot of Barca fans online just hating on Kubarsi. I don't really agree with that. I think if you just look at his last season performance, I think Kubarsi is definitely like a top 3 center back in the world. And he's had so much potential. I think he has like, I think with Kubarsi, I feel like we haven't seen too much of his
I have
passing
to.
ability.
I have to. I'm sorry, but I
Say what?
have to disagree
What?
there. When you said Kubarsi is like, if anything, I would allow you to say Kubarsi is just a buck average defender. But saying he was good last season for Barcelona, especially when he was getting his hand held so much by Inigo, like he gave away a penalty to
That's not
Inter,
true.
gave away a
That's not
penalty
true.
for Dortmund,
Okay, if you look at the Inter
gave a
penalty,
penalty
okay.
for
If you look
Atletico
at the Inter
Madrid,
penalty,
gave a
can
penalty
you talk
for
about
Real Madrid,
can we talk
got a
about Inter
red
penalty?
card
Can we
versus
talk about
Benfica in a big game, and he left
Can
out
we
his
talk
foot for another
about
penalty
the
against
Inter
Real
and Madrid
Madrid.
penalty? Okay, with the Inter penalty, I'll tell you right now, Arsene Wenger even said, I should have never been given a pen. Lautaro was looking for the pen. He purposely shifts his body to fall to make it look like a pen. If you watch like the actual tackle, Kubarsi gets the ball. So I don't think that should be given a pen. I think that was just
Okay,
one of the
but it
few
doesn't make up for
bad
the
ref
other
decisions
big
that time.
mistakes.
And
Okay,
then with
say
the
that's
Madrid,
just
I
one
feel like the
outlier.
Madrid one. I mean, but Vasquez kind of looks for the pen there as well. Sorry.
So just looking at that, okay, if you're considering that one just a one outlier, what happens for all the other games where he has no
I just told you
discipline?
with the Madrid, Vasquez was looking for the pen when he tripped over
Okay,
Kubarsi's leg.
fair.
And
Anything
okay,
to say for
even
the
even
Benfica red
really,
or the
you're really handling his lows. I think we just look overall this season.
many
Kubarsi is just
lows?
very
I don't
good.
think you can find another center back with that many errors made for goals, with
I
that
think any
many
Chelsea
penalties
center back has
conceded.
way more errors last season. I think any Chelsea center back last season had way more errors. I don't
I
think any
don't
comes
think
close to
so.
Kubarsi last season.
If
Okay,
you
name
could
me a
pull
center
up,
back.
if you could pull
Okay,
up,
we're kind of getting off
okay, no,
track, I
no,
think.
no,
But
right
name me
now.
a
I'm not
center.
stat padding. I'm not stat padding. I'm just saying
Okay,
I
tell me.
watched almost every single one of those games. I'm just saying if you can name, you said it yourself. You can think of one Chelsea center back that made more mistakes. Just name one, and I'll see if they even came close
Any.
to making 3 mistakes. Just name one Chelsea center back last season that made as much horrid mistakes as Kubarsi in big games.
Probably some like Kobo Tosin. I don't know.
Kowa has not made any except for like
I know
one,
he was
which
injured.
was
I know he had an ACL, but I
Okay, I
mean,
want to kind of take. I mean, Kola didn't really play as many big games as Kubarsi last season because we were in the Conference League and we haven't seen Kola in the
Mhm.
Champions League, unfortunately. But I wouldn't really say he did make a very big mistake against West Ham, and sometimes I
yeah,
do
the
think he has his
assist,
bad
world
moments,
class assist,
but
world class assist.
he definitely wasn't even close to Kubarsi in mistakes.
errors and all that. Like Kubarsi
I'm just telling you,
literally
with the
had his
Inter pen,
hand.
it's just that was. I
Okay,
feel like
we see
that.
it this season though. We see it this sorry to cut you off, but we see it this season compared to last season where Inigo was holding Kubarsi's hand,
I
helping
don't
him
think he
maintain
was
that
though.
high line.
I mean, we've
Okay, but
seen
we look at it now.
Kubarsi. Okay,
No, sorry, just look
one
at
thing
it
about
now.
Kubarsi last season that made him shine was his passing ability, and we've seen him literally create plays just on his passing, even from the back. He can play long balls. This season, we're not seeing that, I think, and I think that's like, not. It's not letting Kubarsi, I guess, show his strengths a bit. And I feel like I mean, okay, you mentioned Inigo. I think that's a very good point. Actually, I think Inigo was easily Barca's best defender and someone who's kind of held that Barca line together. So his absence obviously creates like some glaring weaknesses because having someone like Eric Araujo there or even Christensen, it's not the same. I think he was just very good with the high line specifically because he's someone who can recover the ball and make good tackles. And we don't really see that much this season with any of the center backs. I do think Kubarski doing his dual center back definitely is hurting him, but I also don't think that he's really playing with his strengths this season as well. So, yeah, but I do. He's also very young, so he has so much room to grow, so much time to improve. I do think the Barca should sign a new center back in January. Someone like Schlotterbeck. I don't know if Gay is possible. Some in winter.
I doubt he would go to
Ignacio
Barcelona.
Ignacio could be good. I'm not sure.
Okay, but
I
I
think
just
there
want
should be a
to.
change, and there's also I'm not sure if Araujo's on thin ice. I don't know like how much time he'll be given. Considering all his mistakes recent,
Yeah,
like
I was gonna ask. So Araujo,
yeah.
didn't he want to leave in summer as well? I swear he was getting linked to Juventus and other things. So
50
what do
mil
you
for
think on him?
Juventus.
Do you want him
Wow.
sold? Do you want him sold?
I think at that time it was not a good idea to sell him, and even after like the like rumors, because apparently he wasn't planning on going. He scored a goal and then he like kissed the badge and pointed to it. So I think he intended to stay like at the end, but right now with his mistakes, I think like people want him out, and yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be like. I mean, if Barca can get him for sell him for a good price and bring someone else in, I think they might do that. But it kind of just depends on how Rajo's season goes, starting like from now, because he even said at the start of this season that his prime is gonna come this season. So I think we just gotta wait and see like what actually happens, because there's still so much of the season left that someone can easily turn the season around. I think we're gonna see that with a lot of Barca players and just Barca overall. Because we even looked at PSG last season. PSG didn't have a good start in the UCL. Like they were like in well, they were pretty low in the table. Like they're just in qualifiers, but they're still pretty low. And we saw how they were able to turn their season around. How like all their players improved in form massively. So I think we definitely see that with Barca this season. Just Flick's kind of giving some hope that we'll see new Barca. So that kind of gives like fans hope that something's gonna change, something big's gonna change. And then we know that with Barca's upcoming fixtures, there's some big games like there's Deport Alaves next, and then there's Atleti next, and there's also the UCL game with Frankfurt, which I mean Frankfurt aren't that doing the best in the UCL, but I think that's still a very important win for Barca to get, just to somehow get a top 8 maybe, because the next few fixtures in the UCL look very relatively easy. So because they're all the three teams are like not doing that well right now, so if Barca don't win it, I think a lot more questions will be raised, and depending on the certain players' performances, I think I don't know. We'll just see more on that. But Pedri should be back, so I think things should get better. Rafinha with more fit, things should be better. So yeah, I think I talked enough. I'll let Deshaun speak, I guess, if you want to say anything.
Yeah, and just I think if we move on to like the overall stats from this game, obviously the final score was 3-0 to Chelsea. And I think, yeah, if we look at the stats, we saw possession was honestly, so like it was, what's the word called? There was much more possession for Chelsea. They had 56% possession versus Barcelona's only 44% possession. And again, for a team like Barca, who hold possession and passing based football is so important. Obviously, I know that we did get a red card, so we were only down to 10 men, but still, I just feel like this shows how disappointing our overall midfield was for today or for the game, and how like disappointing guys like specifically De Jong, I feel were slightly disappointing today. Not today, the other day. But yeah, I just feel like yeah, again, disappointing from our midfield and overall stats. We just did not create enough. A lot of XG was favored to, but I mean Chelsea, and most of our XG was basically from that one Ferran chance. So again, after that chance, I don't think we created any other clear cut opportunity. But yeah, this basically ends our group phase, I guess. And if we look to the table now, we see that Chelsea now sit on 10 points with a plus 6 goal difference in the league phase, while Barca dropped to like they stay at 7 points and only +2. So there is a lot of pressure on Hansi Flick, because honestly, it is really important to finish in the top 8 just to not go into the playoffs. So I think if Barcelona are able to win their next few games, there is a small possibility to finish in the top 8, but it is still going to be dependent on the other teams that are currently in the top 8 and if they win or lose. So yeah, I think it's going to be important for Flick to, I guess, reflect from this game again. I guess we've been saying it all this season, like he has to adjust. He has to, I guess, consider like changes to be made with the high line or some sort of tactic, because if we keep losing players like Pedri and Rafinha, it just, yeah, he has to change something to adapt to the situation. He can't expect his old system to work just because, some players are absent. But yeah, I just feel like overall this game was the 3-0, I think, was honestly harsh. I think it's just an overall bad loss from Barca. And I guess we can move on to our standout performances and players. If the Chelsea guys want to start off, if you want to give your like maybe top 3 players.
Okay, I'll start off. I think everyone was amazing, but if I were to pick top 3, I'd definitely say, of course, the man in the match, Cucurella, just completely did his job covering Yamal. Yamal wasn't in the game at all. He did do that one pass, but that had nothing to do with Cucurella. Cucurella was also so important for that first goal. Did amazing for it. I thought right when he got the ball, he should have just put it in, but takes on Araujo, gets an extra yard on him, and then just does amazing. Cucurella also wins the red card. doing some beautiful tiki-taka with Enzo and I think Garnacho on that left side to win the red card. Cucurella was just amazing. The guy did his job completely, helped us so much offensively, won the red card. He's definitely the man of the match and I think the best player. I think Reece James also was one of our best players. Not playing in his usual right back position, but completely ran the midfield, did get himself an assist as well. A nice little Trivela pass. And just completely dominated. In general, he did have one little error, I think. I think that pass to Caicedo, which led to that Ferran Torres chance, was a little bit risky, but even then, just besides that, that was still an amazing performance from Reece James, world-class captain's performance. And this third spot, I think, could go to many people, but I think I have to give it to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez, I think he deserved a goal and assist, but he did get himself an assist, and he just completely ran that midfield. His passing and the way he led our charges and counterattacks was just so amazing. He broke the high. Enzo Fernandez is one of those players who does like playing against a high line because of his wide range of passing, and I think we saw how he did. Was amazing, and yeah, I think I'll pass it off to Hatham for his top 3 now.
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah, 100% same thing as Harmon said. Just wanted to add on to that Enzo point too. We literally saw in that first half, like with I don't even think it was that far apart. Immediately had a brace of goals. Obviously, the first one was very unlucky for it to be considered a handball and a violation. But we saw that capability he has. He went all the way from a deep line, like he went deep line mid game, to string those far passes and just overall just like override that high line. And we saw even in the second goal that threat he has when he's always box crashing. You just never notice it until it's too late. He has honestly one of the most underrated positioning, just not just in the Prem but in the whole world. You see how much of a threat he is, especially to other teams when on the attack, looking for that goal. And we saw even when he strung that pass to was it Garnacho? And again, I think it was that offside goal, but he always ends up finding the man and he always makes a ping point pass. So I just want to add on to that. I definitely do think Enzo was a top 3 player for us. And I definitely have to give credit where it's due to Estevão and Estevão and Caicedo, as they were also very unreal, especially Estevão in that second half and Caicedo throughout the whole game.
Okay, I guess we can move on to the Barca's perspective. I think because we did lose, I think we can go to our top 3 worst players of the game and how they impacted the game. So, Briash, you want to start off?
Top 3 worst players? That's kind of
Yeah.
hard. I guess I'll put Rahul because of the red card. He can't do that. Just that changed the whole the game was really bad. That just made it impossible to come back. And then it's hard because there's so many players who didn't really do much. Like I can say Fran was probably didn't do much. He missed that chance, so I could put him there. I can even put Koundé there for the own goal, and just after that he didn't do too much either. You could put Kubarski there for some mistakes. You could put Lewandowski for not doing anything, I think. Firmino didn't do well, honestly, in my opinion, so I think it's hard to pick the 3 worst. There's so many bad players. But I think the better players, I'll talk about the better players. I think Balde has some good moments. I think Balde's once again proving how he's probably the best left back in the world. And his mix with pace and dribbling, I think, is a very valuable asset. I think at times he was able to just get past Chelsea. I think if we see more of that and just if Barca can get their fluidity together and Balde can kind of aid with his his physical traits and assets, I think that can just be very lethal for Barca's attack because we even saw versus I don't know this other games even this last game he was very good with his dribbling, so yeah, I think he definitely had some good moments, but I think overall he wasn't that great either because Barca did look very weak defensively and just kept losing the ball. I think also Rafinha's sub. I think Rafinha was the only player who really put the most effort he could. And I think even there was been times where Lamine Yamal was showing Lewandowski for pressing because Lewandowski wasn't pressing, and then even Rafinha were telling players you press because Rafinha was pressing a lot. So I think when we see Rafinha fully fit and playing 90 minutes, I think that'll help Barca a lot more. So I think he had a decent cameo. Besides, Lamine Yamal didn't too much, so I can't really I can't give him too much credit. And then besides that, I don't know. I think João Garcia had a few good saves, but he also conceded 3 goals and a few offside goals. So I can't really say much about that. Can't give him too much credit either.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think Obviously, for our top three worst players, it is a bit hard because most of our players didn't do much in this game, and they were all pretty much disappointing. But obviously, Araujo has to be in there as our captain. He just made a really bad decision. He did get a red card, and that basically changed everything for us and just caused us to be very shaky throughout the game. And then, honestly, I would put Koundé up there as well. I think overall, he continues his bad form. Yeah, he did get basically unluckily get that own goal, but still, even like without that, I think he was getting, uh, I guess, dribbled and outran by his winger. I think Garnacho was having a pretty good game against him. I think yeah, the third player, I guess it's a bit hard, but I think obviously most players, I think for me was slightly disappointing. I think Dion could have done much more for our midfield. I think Eric Garcia, I think this was one of his worst performances in this whole season. Obviously, Yamal had a couple good moments in the game, but again, he was getting isolated and I guess teamed on, so I guess he was getting a bit uninvolved in the game. And then you also mentioned Lewandowski and Ferran. I think, yeah, again, they were just getting no service and they were just, again, not getting involved. I think most of our attack and stuff, they were not getting involved with each other as much. So, again, that was really disappointing to see. But I think my overall criticism was for like the whole team in general. I think Flick just did not plan correctly for this game. I think he had to just bring this line a bit more back. And then obviously we did have a lot of individual errors, which did cause our team to lose. And we had our midfield losing control to such a physical side like Chelsea and their midfielders such as Moises Caicedo. So I think overall we did suddenly get dominated, but I just think critiquing Flick, I think Barcelona obviously did try to build slowly from the back against their intense press of Chelsea. And I think it did still get vulnerable for Barca. I think playing a game like this end to end is just not going to work out for us, especially when we're missing key players like Pedri and Felipe Rafinha. So I think going end to end in such a big game, I think it's not good enough from Barca. I think we have to take more control and we have to hold possession on our team. And especially in the Athletic Bilbao game, like specifically, our best method of defense was actually holding on to the ball. So I think we needed to do much more of that in this game, and we failed to do that, which I just guess showed why we conceded so many goals and why we were getting dominated. But yeah, I guess moving on to the bigger picture for this, I think in the league phase table, Barcelona has to do a lot of things. I think they have to keep winning their games to finish in the top eight specifically. And again, this is one of those games in Barcelona season, one of the other big games, especially Madrid and PSG, where Barcelona have lost again. So again, yeah, we just in the big games this season, we've not done well at all. I think this is going to be really important to, I guess, reflect and do a lot better in the future for these big games. And then there's going to be slight pressure on Flick because if he's not able to control and manage in these big games, it's going to be just bad for us overall. But yeah, do you have any thoughts about that, Brijesh?
Yeah, I think there's two other things I take in consideration with like Hansi Flick and like his system and all. I think one thing is playing players into their strengths. So, for example, I think with Lewandowski, I don't think Lewandowski playing deep is good at all, and I feel like he played more deep than anything. He wasn't that present overall in the game. So, I mean, I feel like it's like ball, like with the ball, I don't think he can do too much just because of his age and like he's a bit slow sometimes. So he can't really dribble too much or like, make some insane pass. So I won't expect too much of him from that. So I think I'm trying to get him to play more up top and just keep him there and letting the midfield and the wingers put like press and everything and playing more deep. I think that's probably better. I think also with Lamine Yamal, I think it's time to let Lamine Yamal be more free and like roam, because I think as his career progresses, I think he's going to be expected to not stay too much on the right, and like he'll be probably expected to drift around even to the left or something, like how Messi kind of like when Messi progressed in his career, he was first started off at the right, but then he was playing different positions as well. He played like a false nine, and then eventually he was able to play anywhere around the pitch. So I think Lamine Yamal kind of has to get used to that. And I think with him switching and being more free, I think it kind of gives a change to Barca's attack, and I think it's something that some managers might not be able to like prepare for. And something that Barcelona are really good at are just like runs and scoring off runs. I think with Barca, when a few times that they were able to make runs and trying to get past, I think the pass wasn't good. I remember Lamine Yamal was trying to give some balls when a Barca attacker was running, and the pass was too short, and the Chelsea defenders got it. So I think There's those sloppy passes just not only give Chelsea possession, but it just stops Barca's attack and just gives nothing really. That's why Barca were very lacking in just the offensive presence and not really any shots on target. The 2 shots on target were kind of weak anyway, so if Barca weren't even close to scoring. And the other point I kind of want to mention with Hansi Flick and just the system is that it's also important to look at the players that are right for the systems. Like, for example, the high line and like the attack. I think with the attack, the wingers, they have to be certain wingers. They can't be someone like Fran Torres because I think the winger should be someone who's constantly pressing, someone who's very intense, someone who's just very active around the pitch, pressing the opposing defense and whenever they have the ball. I think someone like Rafinha is good at that. I think Fermin up top is good at that. I think Lamine Yamal has been good at that. So yeah, I think someone like Fran, that's not really his strength. So I think again, just playing the like certain players' strengths. I even mentioned Kubarski earlier, how one of his biggest strengths are like playing long balls and stuff. I don't think he isn't doing that too much this season, which is not that good because you want your players to play into your strengths. So if he's able to do that, then I think we see like his form, I guess, improve and him adding more to the attack and just giving Barca more, I guess, avenues to attack instead of just because I think this Chelsea game, I think Barca kind of relied a lot on the attack running through Lamine Yamal because with Rashford not starting, I think because Rashford is also another player who can kind of create chances, but without him, I think Fran isn't someone who will really create a chance. I think that's why it kind of relied on like Lamine or even like someone like De Jong trying to like do something. That just didn't happen. So I think when Barca do make new signings, they have to take in consideration like will they actually Flick's high line? Will it actually fit the system? So like the names being talked about like what Schlotterbeck and Gahey. Will Schlotterbeck and Gahey even do well on the high line because there are also some I guess like from interviews and reports, both Inigo Martinez and Joao Martin talked about the high line and how they said that like they're like, losing sleep and stuff because of how intense and how intense and focused they had to be during the game for the high line to work and just how present they had to be. I think Barca should get a striker, so I think with the striker options that Barca kind of want right now, there's like names like Garassi, Alvarez, Young, and like those are the main names. I have Osimhen too. I'm not sure how that'll go, but I think the striker that Barca should sign is someone that again plays into the strength of Hansi Flick's system, and yeah, I think someone like Garassi could be that just because like we saw last year with Lewandowski, he scored a lot of goals. Even though he missed a lot, he also scored a lot, and I think that his presence as a poacher in the box is very important. He's able to header the ball, and I think Lewandowski is finishing. Like he can make some of the most insane finishes, and he did that last season. He can just randomly score, take a good shot, and just goes in. So I think he's very good in that regard. So I think that's something that Barca should like consider.
I mean, yeah, going back to your Yamal point where he has to be like, you mentioned that he has to be more open and more like, I guess, have more space to work in. I think similar to Messi, I think when Messi was early, obviously he started in the right wing more and kind of dominated his right flank. But as he grew up and got older, I think he just started to invert more. So yeah, I think Yamal has to do something similar, and Flick has to kind of sort that out because we have seen how Yamal recently has been getting zoned out in games and almost overcrowded by defenders because obviously the other team knows how dangerous he can be. So they put like 2 or 3 defenders on him at all times. So I think it is an important thing for Flick to consider and Yamal himself to also consider. And I guess inverting Yamal more will be crucial to, I guess, developing him as a player. But yeah, I think overall, just this overall performance was not good enough from Barca. I think Flick has to reflect, as we mentioned before, and obviously you did mention signings in the future in January. But I think if we are serious, I think we have to invest in a center back, more defenders, and I think midfield options are also very like weak right now. So maybe even a cheap midfielder on loan or something would be slightly interesting. But I guess we can move on to one of our closing segments. I guess we can go through each person. I think they can give their man of the match overall. They can give their biggest concern or biggest positive from the game. I think we can do both. And yeah, just let's go each person.
Oh, I would love to start off. So honestly, as big ups to Kukurea, I just have to again, seeing some of the agendas and just seeing how well he played. I just have to give massive props to my man Reece James for man of the match, in my opinion. And some of the positives for me was that a masterclass we had on the left wing, specifically against Koundé. We seen it, especially I think when Kukurea crossed that ball, Neto took that shot, and then oh my god, the worldie, the Rabona weak foot finish from Koundé with the Ferran assist. It was just insane. That was the highlight of my day. Seeing a goal like that, seeing how Koundé finished that masterfully, like a whole skill move and everything with his weak foot. But no, like jokes aside, we definitely saw him get minced too many times. It was very concerning. We even had the likes of I don't know if you guys remember this, but this is when he was off. The whole play ended up being offset, but it still was a goal from it. It was Enzo played a ball to Garnacho. He ran through down the touchline. He did a cutback, and you literally saw Koundé sliding towards the cameraman, like he was on skates for a whole minute. And then Garnacho did that cutback, like basically he did a chop, passed it to Santos, and made a worldy finish on João Garcia. So I just have to say that was the positive for me. Chelsea clean sheet. It was a disaster class by the Barca backline. Saw you guys hyping up Kubarsi, but I just had to say, watching that game, it just felt like a buck average defender. Even seeing that defense against Estevão when he was going on that attack, you literally saw Kubarsi. Kubarsi knows that Estevão is a left-footed player. Estevão was going towards the cameraman more so on the corner flag side with his right foot, and we literally saw Kubarsi going full throttle. Why not just force him on his right? We saw him go put his full strength into that defense, and it was just weird because Estevão immediately just cut it back, ran straight through, and just left Balde and João Garcia on the floor. So just to say, small little segment, small little rant, but that Barca
Wait,
backline and how bad they played, it was just a highlight of my game.
wait, Haytham, did you mention Kubarsi that he should have let Estevão go to his right foot?
Yeah, the goal was on his right too. No, I'm not gonna discredit that. I'm just saying, should have forced him on his right. Like the whole goal was Estevão shooting on the right foot. I know, I understand that, but you just have to wonder why. Estevão was not trying to cut in, but he gave Estevão that whole opportunity with the way he was defending him.
No, I think he should have put a foot in. I think Kubarsi. I mean, I remember the Inter game winner last season with Fertesi scoring. Kubarsi didn't even put a foot in. He just kind of stood there. So I think
He was just
Kubarsi has
jockeying.
No, he just. I think I just stood there. He didn't put a foot. I think if he put a foot in, that Fertesi goes like even going in.
That's what I wonder. You
think-
guys are hyping, not just you guys, but
Well,
I'm
because he's-
seeing everywhere. Barcelona fans are
Because he's
hyping him up like he's the
talented.
next Puyol. He's not talented.
Because
He's
he
just
is.
a buck average defender.
You haven't watched. You barely watch him.
Achimpong.
You barely watch.
I've watched him even last season. I've told you guys he just looks like a buck average defender. You put Achimpong in that back line, he looks like the Messis of center backs for you guys.
That's not true.
Okay, that's not true, but I do agree with Brijesh. I think Kubarsi should have put a foot into the challenge and I guess put more pressure on Estevão. But yeah, Haytham, did you mention your man of the match for this game at all?
Yeah. I mentioned it was Reece James in my opinion.
Okay. I guess, Harmon, you want to give your ideas?
Okay, yeah. For my man in the match, I'll definitely give it to Kukurea. Completely did his job pocketing Yamal. I think he's amazing important for that first goal. Crossed it into Neto. Neto does his job. Also won the red card. He was just amazing overall. And what were the other parts of the segment? Is it biggest concern, the biggest positive?
I guess.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, you can mention maybe if there was a concern in your opinion from your team at all.
Concern. I mean, I still worry about individual errors in the back line. We did see that Ferran Torres chance was from an individual error. So that is another concern. But for this game, there really wasn't much of a concern. I am more worried against low blocks with this Chelsea side. Against high lines, we have so many players who would just love to play against a high line. Our wingers are so fast. Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo know how to put a ball over the top. So I don't have many concerns from this game. And yeah, I'll pass it off to Deshaun.
I mean, yeah, I guess my overall man of the match, honestly, I do respect Kukurea. I think he was very influential in this game, but personally, I would give it to Moises Caicedo. I think how physically dominant he was in this game. I think he was dominating our midfield. I think without him, I think he was winning the ball so many times off our midfield. I think he was so crucial for Chelsea's press in general. I think, yeah, he was just doing really well. So I would give my man of the match to him, I guess. Moving on to my biggest concern for Barca specifically, I think just this overall team. I think overall the tactics from Flick. I think if we don't mesh as a team as much in the future, I think it is going to be causing trouble for Barca. I think we do have to start picking up form. I think we do have to start reflecting and considering what we can do to, I guess, improve our performances, especially defensively. And even specifically in this game, there was a lot of attacking trouble. I think there was not being enough made, but I think one positive I guess we can take from this game was my only really positive was Rafinha coming back and having a pretty good cameo. I think having him back for this team is going to be really important. And we even saw in like the few minutes he got, the 30 minutes or so. I think he was very influential. I think he was like the only player running for the ball, only player pressing, and only player like demanding more from the team overall. So yeah, he does have a lot of that captain aura for this team. I do feel like having him back will be so important for the next few games and overall season. And hopefully, also we did see the Pedri coming back soon, so hopefully he is fit for our next few games, Pedri and Rafinha. And yeah, I guess pass it on to Brajesh.
It was Pedri's birthday yesterday, so happy 23rd birthday to Pedri. It was unfortunate that that result had to happen on his birthday. I think if Pedri played that, I think he would have gotten the win on his birthday, and even like a UCL man of the match. I think. I think there's not much positive to say about Barca's game yesterday. I mean, it's pretty bad. I think both halves just not good at all. I don't know. Just the thing is like Barca relies so much on the attack that when the attack does nothing, Barca just do nothing in general. I mean, Chelsea had more disallowed goals than shots on target that Barca had, which is super embarrassing, especially coming from a team that I scored every goal every game this season. They scored every goal. And Flick coming into this, he was undefeated against Chelsea. He beat them 2 times out of 2 times. Now that record is no longer existing. And Chelsea overtook Barca in UCL like head-to-head wins and overall wins. So it's just I think that's like a pretty heavy loss. The UCL, I think for the man of the match, I think a Spanish La Masia left back won it. I think Alejandro balled it. Okay, I think Marco Correa definitely deserved the man of the match. I think he was. I think someone laugh. But anyways, I think Cucurella did a very good job neutralizing Lamine Yamal. I mean, that's not really an easy job to do. We see a lot of defenders get cooked, but you see a lot of defenders get cooked by Lamine Yamal. I think he did a very good job in kind of stopping Lamine Yamal from doing much in the game. I think Lamine Yamal's passing also where it was like not that it's kind of sloppy. I think kind of lazy, and I think with Barca there's so much like there's also just a lot of like I think the chemistry is also off because we see like moments where like players are telling each other to press, or, like it's not like really in sync. So I don't know, it's not really like a cohesive team, and just the passes like Barca could barely string passes together. It's just like Barca have the ball, Chelsea just get it the next moment. So it's like it's harder to control the game if that just keeps on happening the entire game. And yeah, I think also just concerns like I'm not sure why Casado didn't play. I don't know why, or if, like even like Ronaldo didn't get like too many like I don't know. I thought not bringing another midfielder for the second half was just a bad choice on Hansi Flick's end because first half John wasn't even like doing too well against it. I don't know why he would make him play without Eric Garcia in the DM because Eric Garcia especially had to drop the center back. So I think Flick can definitely make some better subs as well. So yeah, and I think another concern is just Araujo and Fran. They're getting the most hate right now online, and Araujo's future is kind of like again it's on thin ice. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen to him. Again, it just depends on what he does in the future. Fran, I don't know. I actually don't know what Fran like. I feel like
Fran is going
he
to
missed so
Saudi,
many
man.
chances. He missed so many
Saudi,
chances this
man.
whole season. It's just kind of disappointing. I actually thought Olmo could have been more useful. This game, I don't know. I think Olmo, he had a good international break. I thought that, and also I think he's just a good player overall. I think he could have done something. I wish you could see more of Olmo because for me, he wasn't even playing well. I think, and one thing I want to also mention is with Lamine Yamal. I noticed that when Lamine Yamal lost the ball to Cucurella at times, he always complained. Like he would even complain to the ref like this is a foul and stuff. I feel like that's just not good to do, even if it's a foul. I mean, just complaining is not going to change the ref's mind, and complaining can lead to a yellow card, like what Rahul got his first yellow card. He complained to the ref, so it's just not a good habit, I think. But he is young, so like he's gonna learn, obviously. But yeah, I just think if he can improve that, like just the way he like approaches certain things, and I think he could have just done more against Kukurea. But again, fair to Kukurea, for playing well against Lamine Yamal, so I would give him the man of the match.
Not even close.
I,
But
okay, I
He was
do
better
agree
than,
with
he was
Josh.
better
I
than Reece
think,
James. He was better than Reece James.
Let's move on to the next segment, I'd say.
yeah, I do agree with Brijesh. I think overall, just midfield, I think we're very weak right now. I think Flake has to call up either a La Masia midfielder like Bernal or someone, or just I guess make some tactical change to not leave us as vulnerable. But I think we can start before we wrap up. I think each of us can give us one hot take for the rest of this Champions League season. With just one hot take, what do you think is going to happen? It can be about either team, if your own team, about the other team. But yeah, let us know.
Okay, I'll start it off. I think I think Chelsea will win the Champions League. And I'm not even trying to raise bait. We definitely have the facilities, and I think how Maresca manages big games, it's just he does it so well. I am worried about the rest of the group stage. To be honest, we are in a good spot. We are 7th, and I do want to stay in the top 8 because I do not want to play those extra 2 games. But I think Chelsea can win the Champions League, and I also think Barcelona will not make it to the the knockout stage. I think they will get top 24 and then lose in those 2 qualifier games to whoever they are.
I
Can I ask
hear
you
it.
something
I hear it.
quickly?
I hear it.
Can I ask you something quickly, Hartman?
Yeah.
Can you say right now on your life that can you say right now on your life that Chelsea win the Champions League?
I can't put anything on my life.
All my life, I believe Chelsea have a
Done.
high chance of winning the Champions League over Barcelona right now. All my life.
Yeah, okay, we are definitely better than Barca as a side for sure.
All my life right now, I could confidently say Chelsea have a higher chance of winning the Champions League than Barcelona at this current day and age.
Do you think Chelsea are top 3 team that can win the Champions League right now, like based on form?
No, top 3 teams. It's definitely not them, but they're top 5. I definitely say they're top 5 right
So
now.
how do they have top 5?
They're definitely a top 5 team. That's
Chelsea
why
are
they're
in
top 5 in the
top
bracket,
5 in
right?
the table.
Yeah,
They,
but that
I'm
is because
pretty
of
sure they're
previous
top
form. That's
8,
from
no?
like we're talking about current form right now. We are top 8, yeah.
Um,
And what are Barca?
Where's Barca at? Aren't they 18th?
I don't think Chelsea are top 5
Oh,
team.
okay, let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Someone else do their hot take.
Yeah.
Can I share my hot take?
Okay, sure.
Sure. We have Vado,
Introductions,
the Arsenal fan.
Arsenal is gonna win the
He-
Champions League. That's my prediction.
I
That's
hear
my-
it.
that's
I
my
hear
hot
it.
take.
I hear it. I hear it. What year though? What year?
Wait, what do
Barca win the
this year?
champion.
This
I'm sorry,
season?
Arsenal win.
No, I'm saying
This
Arsenal.
season.
Oh,
I think this season we won it. What? Oh, he
What the
said.
hell,
Oh,
man?
he thought you said Barca.
Really, let's stay on topic.
But
Hazel, do you have a hot take?
I have a
Hazel,
hot
do
take. Yeah. Reece James by the end of his career will be in conversations with the likes of Danny Alves, Philip
Yo, we're
Lam,
talking
and
about
Rashford.
Champions League, bro. We're talking about Champions League, this Champions League tournament.
Yeah,
where no
in the
one's gonna be-
Champions League, he'll be considered one of the greatest right backs in the Champions League too.
What's your
But
top
this
5
season,
right
but
backs
this season,
in the
okay. Realistically, let me give a real hot take. This season, I definitely do believe that Dortmund can potentially make semis. Like they've definitely been a dark horse. It's even possible for them to reach finals. I do believe Dortmund will honestly go very far in the Champions League.
Could you like talk about why do you think Dortmund will make it to the Champions League? Could you like
Yeah,
talk
no,
about their
for sure, for sure,
defense?
for
Because
sure.
I do.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure. So just going off the game that was just recently played against Villarreal, we've seen that Golazo, which I honestly believe should have been a hat trick. Don't know how he missed that penalty. Just going over that defense, we've seen their coach. We've seen how they've been playing. Kovac has been
Who's their coach?
Niko Kovac. I mean, obviously you wouldn't know because you're not like a real soccer enthusiast. But okay, let's continue. So basically, based on how Kovac's been performing, oh my god, sorry, I'm losing composure right now. I just saw Pew. She just joined the podcast, but basically, based on playing, he's been running us a very similar formation to Xabi Alonso's last season with Leverkusen. we've seen the 3-4-2-1, and we've seen how amazing it's been working so far. Where he's had Schlotterbeck, Anton, and our Chelsea loanee, Aaron, the Argentinian. How well it's been performing. Mind you, he got a nice assist. It was an amazing play set up. But just going over that entire game, they played out the park, even with that red card and how like they bossed that midfield. Gay and Partey, they had zero chance of the ball. Just basically overall, just don't want to talk too much into it, but you can definitely tell they will go far and how amazing they've been playing.
Hey, Brajesh, want to give your hot take?
I'm not sure. I think okay. It's kind of hard because obviously I think Barca will qualify to the knockouts. I think Barca can definitely win the Champions League and have a turnaround season like PSG did last season. I think what I'll say is, I think when Pedri returns, I think he'll be the best. He'll be like the best UCL player this season. I think he'll be the best performing UCL player this season.
Okay, that's not a bad take.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'd honestly say if we don't correct our issues and if Flick doesn't fix his defensive high line, I think we do get knocked out pretty soon, unfortunately. But honestly, on Chelsea, I guess I would say that they do not get past the quarterfinals. But yeah, back to that Barca point, I think obviously I have to be critical of this high line and how poor we've been defensively. So especially in a competition such as the Champions League, where I guess specific game states matter so much. I think if we are that vulnerable and that easy to score against, I think it's just not going to help us in this overall Champions League. And even though we saw how strong our attack was last season, just because of those defensive mistakes, we got knocked out by Inter. So again, looking back, I just think Flick really has to reflect and improve our defensive display as a team. But that would be my hot take. Any other thoughts from anyone else before we wrap it up?
I want to ask a quick question to the Chelsea side. So going into the game versus Arsenal, I know it's a very big game because of the Premier League table and how if Chelsea are able to win it, then it'll be a 3-point gap between Arsenal and Chelsea. It also just gives Chelsea good momentum and they beat a pretty good team. So I was wondering, what are your guys' thoughts on that game, especially after being Barca? That's a very big win. So like, how's the energy going to that game?
Wait,
Oh
what'd you
yeah,
say?
no, I've been hyped, man. Like I've honestly, this is one of my oh my God, I just can't like words can't express how happy I am. Even when we're going off last podcast when we had that whole conversation whether Enzo Fernandez is a better cam than Fermin Lopez, he snatched his chain that game. Like I
He did not.
never seen. He did not. Were we watching the same game? Where were you
I
watching
think
yours on?
for me, he's still a better player than Enzo.
You
agree.
think you no put it? It's not.
I think
don't
for me,
need to
that
put on
pretty
your,
bad
like,
game,
you'll-
but I
you'll
think
die.
as a
You're-
player, I think for me, he's definitely a better player.
You think Fermin with full confidence has been a better player than Enzo Fernandez?
Not last game, but season, yes.
Okay, I mean if what
Yo,
we
hate
just saw,
hate them. Just
you're right.
be calm, be calm,
It's
be
not-
calm, be
Be
calm.
calm, be calm.
It's
Anywho,
okay. We just know for me
we
doesn't show
heard
up in big games. So
we let it slide when they said they had the best keeper. You know, we let it
Yeah,
slide.
no one. I don't
when
think anyone said that.
Joan
I don't
Garcia
think
wasn't
anyone-
even bad, bro. What?
No, you were in the
he
combined
played that
11.
for that Santos offside goal.
I don't think I
In
said the
that-
best keeper in the world, but he's
No,
definitely
we're
better
not.
than
No
Sanchez.
one's saying the world. We're saying you guys had the best keeper in the combined 11, right?
Yes,
guys-
I still believe he is. I still believe he
When
is.
I
because
said,
Sanchez
when
really
I said, no,
contested.
time out. Let me speak. When I said the conversations between Sanchez and him are not far apart, you clearly
Sanchez
see
did
what
not
I
have to
mean
do
now.
much this game. That's why, because of
He
our
did not do
attack, our
much
poor
that game.
attack.
There was one time where it was a little scary when he dove the wrong way for Ferran, but his distributions, his passing, even just overall how he had that threat when he stopped that Fermin play, which amazing tackle on him. Don't know why Fermin was crying on the ground like he was gonna get something. Just
It's La
that's the
Liga.
Premier
It's La
League.
Liga. That's not.
As the Premier League, own up to that
It's
physicality.
Champions League.
But hey,
It's not the Premier League. It's not
he's
the Premier
apparently
League.
better. He's apparently better than Enzo, right? Still crying on the ground for a call that never should have happened. But overall, back to what I was saying, the conversations between Sanchez and Garcia are not far apart. Just toning it back to why I found this game a little happier. You guys said you guys had the best cam. We let it slide. We let Enzo snatch his chain. Guys said Balde was a better player than Cucurella. That he should be starting over him consistently
He
week in,
should
week
be.
out.
I think Balde was pretty. He had some good moments this game.
Who was your man of the match of the game? I forgot.
Like Kukure had a better performance overall, yeah, but I think Balde's still a better player. I think he had some good moments.
I see. So head to head, especially when Kukure has been proving it in the harder league, been proving it internationally, been proving it game to game, 3 clean sheets back to back in a row. Been defensively amazing, been better offensively. Overall, bossed him the entire time.
Yeah,
But yeah, sure. No, let's give it to the guy who's basically unavailable the entire time when
That's
compared to
is not
Kukure.
true. I don't know what you're talking about.
Balde cannot complete half the things Cucurella has done, especially in the game. You guys said Yamal is a better attacker, a better player than Estevão, right? Why was it that Balde had a harder time marking Estevão than Yamal? In fact, I don't even think he marked him at all second half. It was just that much of a whitewash. He may have been your bright spot, but if that was your bright spot throughout the entire game, you clearly saw how much Chelsea was demolishing Barcelona the entire time.
Balde's not really your defensive fullback. Well, Kukure kind of is. Kukure plays a lot more
Fairs.
defensively.
I hear it.
Before the
He's just
game that
overhyped Dorgu.
he made Estevão wear shin pads because. Wait, what you thought?
No, I said fair. He's not defensive oriented. He's just an overhyped.
I mean, yeah,
Dorgu.
his strength is in the attack. Ball is much better going up. That's what kind of makes him more valuable. That's why when he plays, usually he drifts into like a kind of left wing kind of. And like bars up kind of like back 3, or even if De Jong drops into center back, then it's like a back 4.
So I'm curious, when Balde was going up against Malo Gusto, why didn't he win any major duels at all? That's you guys said again. That's France's second
Gusto had
choice
some
right
good moments
back.
for sure. Gusto made some good tackles as well.
Gusto was he had Balde in his pockets every single time he went up. That's when the second half. To be fair, I'm not going to talk much about him going up forward the second half because of the red. But you definitely saw it in the beginning. Every single time he went up, he got laid down twice.
I remember this one time where Gusto gave Barca a free throw in at Chelsea's half when he had a bad moment with the ball. He kind of lost the ball. I feel like he can improve his dribbling a bit.
Yeah, there were
Balde
definitely times
that.
where some
Balde
Chelsea
could
players
never.
made some very interesting plays. But the way they played, you don't expect every single player in the world to have like a perfect game, 100% pass accuracy, 100% tackle succession. There'll obviously be one or two minor mistakes.
Do you know who had 100% pass accuracy in the first half of the game?
In the first half. Yeah. So we're gonna compare first half throughout the full game.
I'm just saying.
I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear which sideways passing merchant it was.
It's not a side passing merchant, but De Jong had
100%. That De Jong pivot. Oh my god, generational, am I right? The way he was bossing Chelsea around, the way you guys hyped him up like he was.
If Pedri was playing, bro. Oh my god, Pedri was.
If Pedri was playing, we can use that same logic. Imagine if Cole, Palmer, Joao Pedro was playing. Even if any of our players that are injured currently were playing. Even imagine if Lavia was on. Even we had Santos, who by the way is our 4th choice midfielder, who completely bossed that. We literally saw he had Frankie de Jong's chain in his hands. He had a goal which was very unlucky to be offside. I don't know how that was just counted as offside, but okay, we'll let it slide. The way he snatched everyone that game, But hey,
I don't think you can put too much blame on De Jong. I mean, I love Barca. All the Barca fans online are putting so much in De Jong, like unwarranted, I think, because I don't know.
You're right.
It shouldn't that good. I think if you had someone like Casado along him, it would be much better. Cause I don't know. Even though Eric is very good, he didn't have a good game, and I feel like you'd benefit more of having someone like Casado.
Actually, no. That's a great point. Can we talk about the experiment with Eric Garcia at DM? Why did
he's played DM many times before? It's not an experiment.
I see. So why in a big game, in a very physical, and again against a very physical team, against a very paceful team that won't give players much time on the ball, why would he give it to a center back who I wouldn't say their best attribute is thinking? You're cutting out very hard.
Our midfield, obviously we're missing.
You're lagging very hard. I didn't hear you in the beginning.
I'll repeat myself. So obviously our midfield depth was not good going into this game. We were missing guys like Pedri. Obviously Felipe Casado was not available, so I guess that's why Flick didn't really use him. And overall, guys like Bernal, I don't think they're ready for the big stage right now. So I guess I think going into this game we just did not have many options. And in the past, Eric Garcia has typically done well when he's been put into midfield positions. So I think Flick did kind of go safe with this. I think he could have also played Christensen there, but I don't know why he really hasn't used Christensen as much this season.
Christian,
I think we did see him come on. Sorry, what?
sorry, no, Christensen just has this habit. He's had it before for Chelsea, especially in that finals where he was talking about I need to go used to watch. He has a lot of goosebumps, like a lot of butterflies in big games. We even heard that interview.
I know you saw that tweet. I know you saw that one tweet. I know you saw that.
No,
one
no,
tweet,
it's happened before many times. I could confidently
no,
say.
it was a tweet. I know the tweet you saw. I saw it too. I know what you're talking about.
Not just a tweet. It was
But
also
even
a
then,
documentary.
Christensen, he's not even he's kind of injury prone. Honestly, he just misses games and stuff. So I would not expect him to start. Not even I mean,
I heard he's in
even-
a bad situation with the manager. They're not seeing eye to eye currently.
That's a rumor. That's not true.
I don't even know where you get that from, but I think Araujo's start is justified because I think Araujo is probably one of the most physical players at Barca and one of the most physical defenders. So I think Flick thought that he would have done something, but I think Araujo needs to be more smart with his decisions. I think both those yellow cards were avoidable, and that just cost Barca the game. So I mean, I can see why Eric started DM, but I think seeing someone like Casado would have been much more beneficial.
Yeah, I do agree. I think if we did have a fully fit team, obviously Araujo would not start. I think Flick would obviously go with his best center back duo with Kubarsia and Eric Garcia. I think that would have fared better with Chelsea's attack. And obviously, if we had a guy like Casado or even Pedri back in our midfield, I think we'd have just a much stronger overall performance. But I think we can wrap up our podcast because we have been going on for a bit. So thank you for sticking with us through our painful night for the Barca fans, and obviously congratulations to the Chelsea fans. Hopefully you guys can prove something this season. Hopefully you don't win your tin pot Club World Cup or Conference League. Let's see you do it in the big stage. It's a good win against us.
Wait. Why are we talking about big stage when you guys lost your 3 last big games against
And I don't know about
PSG, Real Madrid, and we just beat you guys 3-0, bro? What is that? What is that? Is that agenda?
Agenda switch.
No,
Quickly. We're so quick to forget.
I think we'll see another matchup of Barca and Chelsea this season in the UCL. I think UCL semis we'll see both to play again.
We'll have most of our players
Barca get their lick back.
Realistically, I don't think Barca are making it past qualifiers anyway. I do think they will get knocked out in this league phase.
Pairs, I hear that.
Okay. Also, I had a question for you guys. Were talking about January signings, mentioning names like Schlotterbeck and Gahey. Deco has mentioned that he doesn't have plans to sign anyone in the window. So I kind of want to see do you guys think you will genuinely do good this season with this defense? And with no
obviously.
You want to go first?
Obviously, Deco. Yeah, I'll go first. Deco has been, I guess, a terrorist to us. I think his signing has not been good, but I think even before the season he did mention that I guess Barcelona do have a lot of center back depth, and we have seen going into the season how vulnerable we have been. We've been playing guys like Araujo and stuff at center back in desperate times. So I think obviously Deco has to do better as a sporting manager. I think he has to sign more depth for his team specifically. I think Flick obviously knows that right now Barcelona financially aren't fully strong or back to 1-1. So I guess we are gonna have to work with what we have so far. I think Flick is gonna have to look to La Masia. I think if we don't sign someone specifically in January, I think our season won't turn out too much better. But obviously, I think next summer specifically, I think we're gonna have to go big because obviously that's gonna be the time when maybe Lewandowski leaves us, maybe he decides to retire, maybe our center back depth doesn't get much better, and our overall defense. We have to see how our mid defense and specific players like Koundé and Araujo end their season in form. So hopefully we do have a couple signings that can bolster our team. So I'll hand it over to Brajesh.
Okay, with your Deco point, I wouldn't say it's a terrorist is kind of extreme word. I think only certain people deserve to be called that, and I don't know. I think with Deco, I think he's a bit stubborn at times, a bit moody because he always says that he's not gonna make any signings, and then he also kind of advocates for certain people I think are kind of overpriced. I remember with Luis Diaz, just glazing Luis Diaz for a couple of seasons. They wanted to bring him in, and then for a very large price tag, and also it wouldn't make sense because I don't know. I don't think Luis Diaz for that price tag is worth it because you have to look into the consideration the registration. Also, he kind of he's aging, so I wasn't sure if he was the right signing. I think Rashford was a much better signing that was done. And then Harman also answered like, would a January window happen? I thought the last signing was Vitor Roque in the January, and that didn't go well. But I think there was like different issues there. There's kind of like issues between Xavi and Laporte and like what they want to do with Roque. So I think that's a bit different. I don't know if someone like Schlotterbeck would even leave Dortmund, because Dortmund right now are doing pretty good in the UCL, and I don't think, and he's definitely like a very key piece for them. So I feel like him leaving midway with this Dortmund run wouldn't make sense for Dortmund to let him go. So I don't think Barca would really be able to get him. And Guehi, Palace are also like, I think they're definitely like a good team in the Prem right now, and Guehi's definitely one of the vital pieces for Palace. So I don't really see him leaving either. I don't know other defenders that would really leave. I think the only person that I could see coming in the winter, is Eon, because he kind of hinted about it. But again, I'm not sure if that'll happen. But Barca could definitely look into getting someone like him, like someone come as a striker, because I feel like with Lewandowski's age, he can, I think, giving him someone who can like play certain games, like not as much important games, or even as someone as a sub, he can be good. And I think Ferran, until Ferran starts taking the chances better, I think it's hard to rely on Ferran too much. But I do know that it's Lewandowski's last season, so I think he does want to maximize the amount of time he plays. So
I heard you guys were very interested in Loa.
What do you mean by that?
There were interests in Loa. I heard Deco talking about he wanted to. Was it Deco? I forgot who it was, but I remember there was
What do you mean? Like extending his contract?
No. I'm sorry. Oh my god, I meant Haaland. There was interest in Haaland coming towards Barcelona. Are those true? Oh my god, confused.
There's definitely interest with Barca and Haaland, but the thing is, Haaland also has a very lengthy contract with City, and also I think just for Haaland, like in his career, I think what he wants to do is like he wants to break records at the Prem. So I'll take definitely like a couple of seasons for him to actually achieve. So I think he wants to like wait for maybe the right moment to maybe move on, if he wants to move on from City. I think with Pep leaving, I think depending on City do with that, because I think if Pep leaves, I think City will get worse. Hopefully that doesn't like come back to bite me. I think with that, maybe Haaland would want change, and I remember the preseason game between Barca and City. Haaland kind of complimented Barca, and he also I think posted on the story or something. So I think Haaland definitely has some interest in Barca, but he will cost a lot of money. So I think if it were to happen, it'll be like a couple of seasons from now where Barca can get more money, and like when Barca really do need a striker. I think a better solution right now would be like something like Garassi or even like Alvarez.
But yeah, I heard you guys are interested in that. I heard you guys are interested in Alvarez. I know he's like he's an amazing striker. He's really well. When we saw against,
he scored today. Okay. But I don't know if he's a striker that Barca really need. I think Barca would benefit much more with a poacher like Lewandowski type player, so someone like Garassi or even like Kane. Though I know that Kane kind of denied the Barca rumors. And that's what I mentioned Harman's point about the defense, because that's just important. You said, what's your question again about the defense?
Like, okay, so realistically, you guys probably aren't going to make any signings in January. So, like, with this defense and just with the current squad in general, like, what do you think? Like, how do you think you'll do this? Like, no bias. How do you think you'll like do the season? Do you think you'll make it from the Champions League?
No, I can definitely foresee a lot of more disappointing results that Barca have, like a lot of embarrassing ones too. I think the game against Atleti after like next week, I think that can definitely. Atleti in very good form, and then Alvarez is like in insane form, so that can be a pretty difficult game, especially with Barca's defense. And
I just have a question.
With the current defenders, yeah.
Just like about like your performances like moving forward, do you guys think you can win the league like realistically?
I mean definitely. I mean it's really early to say right now, because we saw even last season in January, Madrid were up by 10 points and they still lost the league. So I think like we'll have a much better picture like sometime like March or like April, I guess. Because I mean right now it's a 1 point difference, so like really anything can happen. And there's still like another El Clasico game, so it's just very early to say right now. But I mean I think the league Barca are doing solid. I think they're slowly getting convincing wins. So yeah, it's just a UCL that Barca really aren't like showing anything. It's very embarrassing right now. The Club Brugge draw, this result, PSG game. So yeah, and about the defense, I think Barca have. Honestly, to be honest, I don't know how good the depth is. It's kind of poor, honestly. So like, I mean, I think Balde is definitely good. I think he's like on lock, but Koundé, if Koundé doesn't improve in form, I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Because if Eric plays right back, then Araujo plays center back, and Araujo isn't in great shape either. So if they don't improve, then it can definitely be very bad. But I do think that we will see improvement in the defense. I think it will get better. As I said before, Flick said we'll see a different Barca, so see what he means by that.
Yeah, and to add on to that league, if Barca could win the league, I do think it is really like up to contention because honestly, both Madrid and Barca so far have been very poor in their own respect. I think obviously today we saw Madrid win 4-3, and I guess Olympiacos. It was really not honestly not a good result for them. But yeah, honestly, I think specifically on Madrid, I think they are very Mbappe dependent. I think they do depend on like Mbappe solely. I think the other guys, if they do want to win, especially the league or the Champions League, I think other guys like Bellingham or Vinny will have to step up themselves. So yeah, I think they have been poor, and then obviously Barca. I think defensively, we've seen how poor we can be. So if we don't take our chances, I think it's going to be really bad for us in the league and in the Champions League. But yeah, even though the Clasico was won by Madrid, we're still only 1 point behind them. So I guess yeah, it is very close between both teams. So yeah, as Burgess mentioned, it'll depend on how the season goes by, and I guess yeah, we'll see who wins the more trophies this season.
Can I ask something? I wanna flip the question to the Chelsea side. How do you think about the Prem? Like, what do you think the chance of Chelsea win the Prem and competing against someone like Arsenal and City? Like, how do you think that'll go?
Oh, no, that's an amazing question. I'm definitely now seeing how we're just only 6 points off Arsenal, the whole competition for us competing with the Prem. I would say it definitely lies here on Sunday. The whole project with Maresca was last season was just mainly to, enforce was it top eight or top? I don't know, but it was just more so to try and get a placement for a European trophy, so we can compete. Obviously, I don't think the whole Chelsea goal right now is to immediately win. I mean, that was what we were saying last season as well. It was like just we're not in a title race. We're just trying to we're still in a rebuild, which people don't understand. Last season was our first season with the real manager, and just now seeing how far we came, especially from like the Graham Potter and whole thing Lampard days.
Frank
Now
Lampard, yeah.
we definitely see the improvement, seeing how we're top 2 and top 8 in both Champions and Premier League. Honestly, for the Champions League, it honestly depends. If we have a great result between Arsenal, I can definitely say, in my opinion, I do believe Chelsea's in a title race. But as for now, I definitely don't see Chelsea in a title race, as close as it may seem. I definitely just see them as a club right now, just still trying to finish the rebuild. A trophy here or there, such as like the FA Cup or the Carabao, would be quite great. But again, I definitely think the goal right now is just to aim for a top 4. I wonder if Harmon has like the same thought too.
I mean, I don't know. It's with this league and like from second to 12th, the points are very close. I mean, I don't know if we do have the facilities for a title race. Yes, we do perform well in big games, but I just don't think we are consistent enough, and especially against low blocks. Or especially against low blocks, I just don't think we are consistent enough. As seen through like results against Sunderland, that performance was disgusting. I also don't think our defense is good enough and our defensive depth. Maybe when Colwell is back and when Cole Palmer's back, we can do better. But I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. But as of now, I think top 4 is basically on lock. But I don't think we're in a title race. No.
All right, guys, thank you for your take.
Wait, let me ask a question. So with Palmer's return soon, right? He's in training. So I just want to ask, I mean, do you think Chelsea are playing good football right now? And if so, do you think with Palmer coming back, like Maresca somehow suggests something, because obviously the midfield will change and like I guess for me the tactics will kind of change a bit starting Palmer, no?
Yeah, no, definitely. We've seen how sorry, oh my God, I'm blanking. Within Chelsea, how they've played against low blocks, and especially playing a team like Arsenal, who are more so low block and mid block like oriented. They're more defensive based. If Palmer is back for a game like that, we could definitely see like the improvement within Chelsea and players such as his caliber. Again, there have been injuries for Chelsea that have set us back. A lot of recent players like that we've just acquired, such as Isugo, and players like, well, I wouldn't say recent, but players like Lavia, who really haven't got the chance to prove themselves, but we do see the quality they have. It definitely does affect us with the injury list, especially with Colwell. But players like those returning, it definitely does make a big, big difference on whether we're contending for titles and stuff.
I mean, do you think Chelsea play better with or without Palmer?
Oh, we're definitely better with Palmer. That's a no-brainer question.
Okay. I just mean that. I mean, with Palmer coming back, right? I mean, the starting 11 would change. So I was thinking, do you think like any like, cause like with Barca, right? It was Enzo at the 10, and then like it had like what Reece James DM. So it's like if Palmer were to was playing, that would change. Doing the play style would change at all.
Gusto
yeah,
Santos would just be benched.
But do you think like that
Santos
mid
doesn't
like
start. But usually we don't. I mean, I don't know. It depends. Maresca will utilize 2 right backs sometimes, but I think it'll just be what we were doing before. Palmer will be playing at the 10. We could see him at right wing because we did see him against at right wing against PSG, but I don't think so because we haven't seen Estevão and Palmer play together. So I do want to see that duo, but I think it'll just be Palmer moving to Cam, and then Enzo moving back to the DM slot with Caicedo, and then Reece James moving to right back. So yeah, someone will have to get dropped, and that'll probably have to be one of the right backs, and probably Malo Gusto. But yeah.
okay? Any comments from the other people? Cause I saw some faces and stuff being made. So
Okay, yeah, but anyways, guys, thank you for sticking with us to this podcast. I think, again, massive congratulations to Chelsea and their young stars, especially Estevão, for their 3-0 win. And yeah, a lot of questions for Flick and this Barca squad if they want to do something in the season. So yeah, drop your comments in down below and let us know who is most at fault, especially like in my opinion, it was Araujo. Let us know how Barca should set up in these big games and if this is a wake-up call for the whole team. Yeah, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any other videos. And yeah, thank you for listening. Goodbye.
and shout out to the special guests.
Yes,
Yeah,
shout out
goodbye.
to everyone here, and thank you so much for having me on this podcast. You know, it was an
Thank you,
amazing
thank
time with
you.
everyone here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.